Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whichever time you're happening to be listening to this. Thank you guys very much for being a faithful listener to the podcast. Because as it is, we are over 80 episodes right now, I believe. I'll have to go back and check. And I'd like to say thank you very much for those of you who listened from day one, especially for those of you who've been with me on my previous incarnations, the videos that I used to put up on Facebook and stuff like that. So thank you very much for the wonderful ride that we've had so far from I think February of 2020, I believe, all through to where we are now. I'll do my best to be more consistent with the episodes in the coming weeks, and hopefully I'll be able to deliver useful content that'll help you guys grow your wedding business and whatever hustles it is that you guys have on the side. So thank you very much guys for listening. Now before we continue, apologies, it's the holiday season, and so everyone is home, the neighbors are up and about, so you might hear some conversations here and there. So just forgive me, I don't have a dedicated audio recording booth at the moment. I just find whichever room seems to be empty and handy, the kids aren't making too much noise, and then I just hit record. And okay, now before we continue, I had an interesting call from a former prospect. We didn't get to do some business together, but I sent her Happy New Year messaging, Christmas messaging, and she called back and we had a good conversation. And during the conversation, she said, "Shay, you talk very fast," and that turned out to be an interesting conversation point. I laughed and we spoke about it. I tried to slow down, but she still kept telling me, "You're speaking very fast. You're speaking very fast," and it's something that I've been told, or particularly by family members, my brother especially, who says that he listens to the podcast once in a while, but just from a technical perspective, because he's an audio recording guy, so he's always keen to make sure that the audio levels are on point, things like that. So yeah, he always points that out to me. That's the whole thing about talking quickly and talking in monotone. So first off, I want to blame you listeners for this predicament, because in the feedback that I've been getting, whether WhatsApp messages and comments and stuff like that, nobody has pointed out any problem with my cadence. So I'm going to put the fault squarely on your shoulders. Okay. Anyway, so straight to the topic of the day. Oh yes, now before we get to the topic of the day, I'd like to say a Merry Christmas as well for those of you, my listeners who happen to be Christians and who celebrate this festival. Have a wonderful Christmas, and we're looking forward to a beautiful 2021. Now, where I left off at the last recording was still on the case studies from G-Power, and I'm going to look at one more sample question that we can use today to get at the level of urgency that our brides and grooms have. So in his case, since he deals with alternative energy, the question came to be something like this: since your generator is brand new and still under warranty, are you really interested in looking at solar right now, or at inverters right now, or on and on, whatever the product was that he happens to be selling at the time? Now, the reason why this question is important is because in his dealing with customers and in our own dealings with brides and grooms, we're going to find out particular facts about their situation, and we need to drill into them. Immediately to find out if those things are going to be obstacles or not, because it's better to find out if this is going to be an issue right now than continuing with the conversation for 3 weeks and then find out that it's an issue. So in G-Power's case, they have a brand new generator. The generator is still under warranty. So you have to ask that question: is this a problem that you guys really want to solve right now? Or it's something that you want to ride out? If you find out legitimately that it's something they want to ride out, then there's no point in continuing with the conversation, because you can't get people to take any actions when they are not ready to do so. So the same goes for us in the wedding and event space. You need to ask that question. Okay, you have 14 sisters, and it looks like 6 of them are interested in party planning. Are you sure that wedding planning is a problem that you have right now? Or, oh, you're the cousin of so and so. Okay, yeah, she just started her wedding planning practice recently. So since she's your cousin, are you sure you really need another wedding planner, or why aren't you speaking to her? The same goes for us, we photographers. Say, oh, okay, your younger brother is interested in photography. His work seems pretty good. Do you really need a wedding photographer? How come you're not speaking to him? And, it's also the same for DJs. So, oh, okay, nice turntables. Oh, okay, your brother is really interested in this sort of thing. How come you aren't talking to him? You have to ask questions that drills in to be really sure whether there's a problem or not. Because if the fact that she has 14 sisters is significant, or if she has 5 or 6 aunties on the Mumsy side and they're keen on planning the wedding anyway, then it's better to find that out now rather than do constant follow-ups for 2 months and then find out that the aunties actually are a key factor to contend with. So it's the same with the brother or the cousin or the friend who is a photographer. You need to find out now if that's a significant factor to consider, rather than continue the conversation and then in 2 months' time they say, oh, you know what, my friend at the office, he said he's going to do this for us for free. That is actually something that I've been hit with that one before, so that's where that example came from. And the same thing with the cousin who's the DJ. So the bottom line is this. I may not have given you an ideal format for how you're supposed to ask this question, but you need to find ways of finding out if there's any sense of urgency, if we are dealing with a problem here at all, and when they'll be ready to pull the trigger. So that's the whole point of all these questions that we've been going over in the last couple of episodes. So don't forget to ask these questions. They're absolutely important. They're going to save you time, first and foremost. And then second of all, they're going to save your brides and grooms the time and the irritation of you having to call back every now and then. Because some people know how to get straight to the point and will tell you, please stop calling me, or they'll block your number. But I suspect that the average Nigerian was raised too polite and too proper and might answer those phone calls and talk to us a little bit just to humiliate you. Sorry, not humiliate you, just to humor. Yes, just to humor you and to be polite, because they don't just know how else to get you off the phone. So be sure to ask those questions to be sure if we have a problem that we are dealing with or not. So thank you very much, guys, for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I hope you guys enjoy the holiday season. We're done with the Christmas Day celebration for now, although in the Catholic Church, which I'm a member of, the Christmas is an octave, so we still have a few more days to go, and the Christmas season itself will still last another 12 days before we call it a wraps. Either way, we're looking forward to 2021, even though we know that nothing substantially is going to change between December 29th and the 1st of January. Still, it's good that a lot of us are going into this new year with a lot of optimism, and hopefully with a set of plans for what it is that we're going to encounter in the new year, since we've already had a heads up. So let's talk about second waves and new shutdowns and stuff like that. But since we've already been through some of this in 2020, I'm sure at the very least we have plans for how we're going to deal with these in 2021. So thank you very much, guys, for listening to the podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based wedding and event photographer, Tavishima Ayede. I'll catch you guys on the next episode.